Ooh.
So we're here, and let's get this recap.
Before I do a recap, I just wanted to say a few things. Some of you guys put some input in, which I really actually appreciate because I know the rules, but I still don't know what I'm doing as a GM. And so I just wanted to clarify that this first adventure is pretty linear. I'm kind of shoehorning you guys together so you can learn the rules of the game. But I had some requests for kind of more role-playing elements, which I appreciate. And I will give you guys the chance to role-play more, starting right at the very beginning. And there's also Jesse and I were talking about some rule stuff, and I've been kind of lenient on some rules, but that might change once we exit the tutorial and get out in kind of like the main world. For instance, like the fact that Jesse only has a 1 in his Nordling skill technically indicates that he doesn't know how to speak it at all. So for right now, I figured too many details was too overwhelming since we're just getting started. But as we get more familiar with the base rules, I might start taking that kind of seriously. So, Jesse, if he doesn't know how to, speak Nordling, then I'm not going to let him communicate with people who only speak Nordling, and so on and so forth. So I will start getting a little bit more strict about that once we exit the tutorial. But for right now, I just want to focus on learning the rules and having fun, and giving you guys the chance to flex your creative muscle.
And then you'll crack down on the rules.
Well, I mean, only to a certain degree, but definitely when it comes to skills and items and stuff, I'll be following kind of the rule book as it says verbatim, rather than letting you guys have free reign, because
no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
My only question is then, could I get a 1 in the other languages? Because if I had known that, I would have a 0. I would probably have been able to talk to people during my character.
Well, you guys will be earning some improvement points today and in the future, and maybe it will be a good idea to spend those early improvement points on languages so you guys can translate. You also have to think about, if you don't really think you're going to be using a lot of language skills, i.e. if you're kind of just the sword and sorcery type and you don't really want to do any fighting with your silver tongue, you don't need to dump a lot of points in language. So
I'll be able to communicate with everyone, no issues.
Excuse me?
Yeah, I'm maybe along the lines of where Michael's going. Does that really help with gameplay if we all don't speak the same language? At least in our group.
So it does matter if let's say
I understand it matters, but I mean, I guess, does that make sense if we have somebody in our party that can't understand what we're saying, and we have to or somebody has the ability to translate and they're translating all the time?
Because as of right now, I can only speak.
That's fair. Let me think about that. Maybe I'll
adjust my team. It's fine. I was just wondering, like, if it's going to affect that.
No, but I think that's fair. If I'm going to make it stick to gameplay, and I'm also going to try to make the role-playing elements a little bit more, realistic, then yeah, you guys should be able to talk with your party. So maybe what I'll do, because it would make sense with your party, you guys have all been either living or existing in the Northern Kingdoms long enough that even maybe I'll just bump all of your Nordling up to at least like 3 or 4 automatically, so you guys have enough basis to speak it, even if it's not well. So that's, once you get into the 3 or 4 range, I'm just going to say 3 arbitrarily, that you should be able to speak it even if it's broken. So 1 is not enough, but 3 probably is. So you know what? For right now, I'm just going to go ahead and say that all of you guys have at least a base of 3 Nordling, along with any other language that you had chosen.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I was going to say that that's pretty much how it works in Dungeons and Dragons. Humanoid creatures can basically almost always speak common.
Yeah. So that being, Mary raised the point that she dumped a lot of her her skill points, her initial skill points into language, and then if I just give everyone skill points, it kind of nullifies that. So we might be in a bit of a rock and hard place here.
We're in the tutorial. I don't.
Could that just contribute to her charisma and ability to speak? Because just because everybody has a base level of a broken language that we all speak, that doesn't mean that they would have as much skill.
Yeah, I can speak Nordling, but it's kind of ridiculous that I'm a Witcher who has bad social skills. Why do I have an 8 in speech? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just that everyone just has a base understanding of one language, and then we can.
Yeah, so I mean, we could always
that they all speak with each other.
I don't know. Let me think about this a little bit. I don't want to. I like the idea of giving out free points, but it does kind of discredit, since that wasn't a rule at the beginning. Our characters are kind of finalized. I don't want to now go back and invalidate that. I don't want to not be realistic, and I also want to play by some semblance of rules. So it's kind of like a triangle that I need to resolve, and I might just I don't know.
I'm going to give you a bad Yelp review.
Does anyone have any other ideas on how to kind of parse this out?
Well, so my suggestion would be, like I think other people have said, just everyone can speak Nordling, but don't give us the points in it. That way people who are good at speaking, or have a lot of knowledge in that, they still have an advantage in any roles that would take place. But people who don't speak it can still, or don't have any points in it, can still at least communicate Nord.
Yeah, so let's just say they can all understand, they can all speak it.
Okay.
People with points do it way better, and we'll have the advantage, like Mr. said.
So here's how I'm going to manifest this. I'm going to give anyone who is trying to pass a speech-related skill that doesn't speak the language, I'm going to give them negative modifier points. So from once we pass the tutorial, if Jesse was trying to pass a charisma check and trying to smooth talk a bunch of people that spoke Nordling, but he doesn't speak it, I'm going to give him some negative modifier points there. And then the more points he puts in his Nordling skill, those negative modifier points will go away. And so that'll actually affect all speech-related skills. And I think that's fair. That kind of
That
Sounds reasonable.
Okay. I will not enforce that until after you guys complete the tutorial, but until I think that's a reasonable thing, and I'll figure out what the modifiers will be. But if I'm saying that, I think the guide actually says what level of skill you need to at least speak the language. So I'm going to figure that out, and then every point away you are from that level, that is going to be the negative modifier you will have applied to your speech checks.
Okay.
Seems fair.
Okie dokie. All right. So let us catch up to where we were. I can post these campaign notes on the chat if you guys would like just to have them there.
That would be good.
But for now, allow me just to read them out. So we arrived in Millik. We had our adventurers go into the bar, trying to figure out more information on the monster attacks and where the village alderman might be. The alderman being kind of the source of knowledge in Millik. Jesse was the first to act. He spent 15 coins and bought everyone, all of these scary soldiers, beer. And with his roguish charms, he persuaded them to tell him a little bit more about the alderman. And he learned that the alderman has been gone from Millik for a couple of days, and he also learned where the alderman's house is in the village. Michael, while this was happening, Michael was gambling with some Gwent players. He earned 55 coins gambling. Congrats, Michael. And learned that not only did he also learn where the alderman's house was independently, but he learned that the village children of Millik might know something about the monster attacks or the alderman, because they're kids and they run around and they see a lot. While this was happening, our sly thief Minka observed that the soldiers and the Gwent players really did not like these questions. It kind of acted shifty, figured out something else might be going on here. After this, you all converged outside of the bar and met Riggs and Adelina. Michael and Christopher tried to dissuade the bandits from engaging you in combat. It did not work, but you guys succeeded in your combat. You won 17 gold pieces. I have down here that Jesse is going to have 6 of them. I did not get how you guys are going to divvy up the other 11 gold, but I guess you can figure that out. And Michael also found a Gwent card that one of the soldiers dropped. And so how I'm going to play that is you guys will earn improvement points as I dole them out at the end of every session. However, there's going to be certain rare items that almost act like heart pieces from Legend of Zelda. So if you collect 3 of those, they act as a skill-specific improvement point. So in this case, Gwent cards are the gambling heart piece, as it were. So you collect 3 Gwent cards, and you get an improvement point to spend specifically on the gambling skill. After the combat, Zoe, the murder elf, and Riggs of Redania noticed the village children were watching them. So they went to the village children and talked to them, and they learned that there's this widow named Moralka that kind of a Petunia Dursley-ish character that's constantly watching around and might know some village gossip, might know something about the Alderman. You guys also managed to squeeze out of the kids that one of the kids had seen the monster by the river, and Riggs used his Witcher lore, his knowledge, to discern that the monster is probably either a giant catfish, a drowner, which is a kind of dead body-ish creature, or a lapistray. And that's all you guys know about the monster right now. And you guys all earned 1 improvement point. You earned 2. And that is where we are. So you guys are still in the village square, geographically. You guys have all this information, and you also have the option of spending an improvement point now or saving it for later. So at the beginning of each session, I'll give you guys the option of spending your improvement points if you so desire. Does anyone want to do so now?
I'm sitting on mine.
Yeah, I'm holding on to mine.
I'm okay.
I have 2, correct?
Yes.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna hang on.
All right. Seems like party's voting to hang on.
Mm-hmm.
So before you guys make a move here, I'm going to act on the advice I was given. I think it would be a good idea. You know, I brought you guys together as GM, but now following this combat, you guys are looking at each other, this weird 7-person party, and you realize you're kind of like, you know, how the hell did we get here? And so if you would like, maybe inhabit your characters for a second and kind of congregate and talk to each other, get on the same page, figure each other out, you know, do some dialogue if you would, or just, you know, try to figure out where each other are and make sure you guys are all on the same page before you take an action as a party.
So I'm gonna just turn to our magic casters and you blew his damn leg off.
Look, things happen sometimes. You know, I mean, I've been around a long time, and I've seen. Trust me, I've seen a lot worse. But that was nothing.
A damn leg. This.
Look, all I care about is finding the Alderman, because I'm sure there's a contract for this, whatever this creature that is in the river is.
I'm gonna go hide the leg in the bush.
Well, next time I'd appreciate if certain dwarves of the party didn't just go swing their fists at the nearest ballsack they came in touch with.
2 things: relax, elf, and number 2, Beetlejuice. Can I actually keep that leg?
Do I even want to know?
I have a pouch. It's fine. I'm a doc.
Is it a
Is your
pouch
pouch
for your
big
ball sack?
No, it's a pouch for carrying things. Thank you.
But it's big enough to carry a leg?
I guess I'll hand the leg to Iroh and just. Are you Iroh or Ozai right now? Like, I'm just gonna like lay it on the ground near you and just sort of like slowly back away.
Yeah, I think I'm still currently Iroh, so that's okay.
I look over at Riggs and say, "Oh my god, are you a Witcher?"
I was.
Oh, what?
I
Yeah, he's
can't
been out of the
believe it.
game for a while. He's kind of boring now.
Hey, watch it, young one.
What happened?
No, that's so cool.
I don't want to talk about it. That's my past. Thank you very much. Now, if you all are done starting brawls in the middle of the street, my apprentice and I are off to find the Alderman.
Oh, can I come?
We were.
Can
already
we go with you?
First. So you can join us, or
what is your name again, Sarah?
Adelina.
Well, Adelina. We Witchers work alone, so let's leave these people here and we'll go find the Alderman.
Sounds good.
But we want to find the Alderman.
Well, you're welcome to do whatever you want to do.
Okay, we'll come along. I'll come along.
So I'm just gonna have this like weird like fake pass out moment and then come back to as Iroh and slowly go around and introduce myself to the new members of the party.
So Adelina, sometimes no matter how hard you try to remove the riffraff from your life, you can't get rid of them.
Wouldn't it be a little less dangerous if we like had some help though?
Who are you calling riffraff?
yeah, no offense, Witcher, your skills don't seem to be exactly in top-notch condition.
Friends.
Like I said, I'm not a Witcher.
Why don't we all just simmer down? We had a drink, had a few laughs, blew off a man's leg. Let's all just stick together, head on up towards the Alderman's hut and resolve this little mystery.
I'm game. I'm just happy to be included.
Aw.
I'm just gonna start heading towards the Alderman with or without people.
A rough family life.
I have a question as a unobserving or as an unbiased bystander, Michael. When you turned back into Iroh, did you notice the leg in your pouch? And
Didn't really think anything of it, to be honest. I've seen enough of it.
He's been living with this for a long time.
Come on, Adelina. Let's go find the Alderman.
Yeah, let's go.
I also-
we're coming with you, so
I kind of want to unofficially as a GM, dub you guys the Guardians of the Continent because grabbing legs is very like Rocket Raccoon from Guardians of the Galaxy.
I've been called worse.
So together, not necessarily together as a consenting party, but in the same spatial movement, you guys head towards the Alderman's house. Is that what I'm gathering?
Yeah.
yep.
Okay.
So Adelina and I are chit-chatting about what kind of monster it could be.
Okay. And so the three monsters that you've discerned it down to, you're kind of going over what those are. Now, something I was going to add for you, Christopher, and anyone else who has a high education or monster lore, at any given time, if you guys want to learn more about a monster or really anything in general, you guys can pass an education check, and you will utilize your knowledge of the common folks talk or the literature, whatever you have at your disposal to learn more about it if that knowledge is available. So that's education. And then for monster lore, if you pass a monster lore check, you'll know what you know from your Witcher training or from your knowledge of monster lore. So if you identify a monster or potential monster, you can try to pass an education or monster lore check to learn more about it if you so desire.
Okay. But we're still not sure which one it is, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so you guys arrive at the Alderman's house, which you got directions to where it is. It is fairly unassuming. It looks just like the other houses. The door is closed. The windows are boarded up and a little high off the ground. And the grass around it is a little overgrown. When you arrive, the first thing you notice is a large scroll pinned to the door.
I'll walk up and snatch it off the door and read it.
It is a guarantee of coin for a contract on the monster of Millik, stamped by the Duke of Gorsvelen himself, for 2,000 Temerian Orions, whoever can stop the attacks on the road to Lodz south of Millik.
I'll take the notice up to Adelina and explain to her. Now, normally we would try and haggle a better price than this. We're not even sure what monster it is. But seeing that the Alderman is missing, I'm thinking this is probably the best price we can get right now.
Good to know.
Well, this looks promising.
So, other characters, you guys are also there. Do you have anything else to add in?
May I make an awareness check to see if there's perhaps any clues lying around on the outs? Anything else other than we've readily seen?
Yeah. So it's yours is 5. Okay. Can you guys hear Mare with the fan on?
Barely.
Yeah.
I'll talk. Just thingy.
No, she's cutting in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she wants to know what your awareness is, Jesse.
My awareness is 3.
I'll do it because I'm a 5.
So Zoe wants to supersede you because she has a higher awareness check, and it doesn't really matter who does it.
Makes sense to me. You go,
Okay.
Zoe.
Love you.
What is your awareness, Zoe?
Her awareness is 5.
Mine's 8.
And- Oh, all right, Christopher. All right. So you guys all want to be the first to figure out what's going on. You guys fight over who gets to be the most aware. In the end, it's Riggs of Redania. So
As
you look
always.
around. You look around the outside of the Alderman's house, but you don't really see anything. You just see the notice of coin and the door and the windows. So nothing out on the outside of the house.
Okay.
So
You do know
after
that
that,
the house,
I'm just
the
gonna-
door to the house is locked with a pretty standard looking, lock.
I'm just going to make sure that we're all on the same page, and we know that if there are 2,000 coins available, that will be evenly split between the party as we're doing.
Naturally.
You're still not invited. You can't invite yourself to a party and then say, or to a Christmas party, and then say that you deserve your share of the gifts when you weren't even invited to begin with.
What's Christmas?
Objection.
Is this some northern thing? I'm not aware of this.
What was that?
What's Christmas? Is this some northern holiday?
It's a Witcher thing.
Zoe's gonna go back to the bar, disguised as a human, because she doesn't feel like arguing over coin.
Yeah.
Ah,
Minka's gonna look in the windows and then kind of wander around to the back.
Does anybody have a lot of skill under craft? Maybe Adelina?
Mary wants to know if anyone has lockpick skill.
I do.
Minka?
Minka has lockpick skill,
Ding me.
I think.
I do not.
I think Meredith is
Yeah.
implying that you should pick the lock on the door.
Yeah, that's where. Well, I was just gonna go do it on my own.
I'm gonna like
if
whack
that's-
Riggs and be like, come on, like maybe like we should like use the help so that we don't die for some
All
stupid
right.
reason.
Whatever you look. This was your mission. You convinced us to take it. Well, I'll follow your lead.
Awesome.
Do we? I know the door's locked. Did somebody knock on the door to see if anybody even answered it?
I don't
Well,
think
that would
anyone
make too much sense.
I'll bang my fist on the door.
No one answers.
Okay.
I'll kind of look at her and like kind of raise an eyebrow, like,
Like, duh.
yeah, like duh. Nobody's there.
I wonder where he is. I think we need to we need to understand where the alderman even is.
Why don't we break into his house?
I think we should.
Lead the way.
All right, Amy. Yeah, it's going to be a challenging lockpick, which is 16. So
Okay.
looks like you have where is that? That's a craft of 10, and you have pick lock of 4. So
Right. So that's 14, right?
yep.
So that
So you
so
just have
I-
to roll a 2 or
right. Okay. I'm rolling a die 10, right?
yes.
Okay. Nope. I failed.
You got a 2. You got a 2. So you
Oh.
met it.
Oh, okay. I thought I
You
needed
have
to go high.
You have to meet it or succeed it or exceed
Okay. Okay.
it. So Minka goes to pick the lock pretty confidently. She picks it. Only she knows that she barely picks it, but to everyone else, it looks pretty convincing. But the lock
That was
does
impressed.
open with a click, and yeah.
I push the door open, but don't cross the threshold.
Now, Minka, you have a unique thieving skill, do you
Right.
not? What is your unique thieving skill?
What is my unique? I should know what this is off the top of my head.
Don't forget everyone.
Practice paranoia. So I guess I would probably want to use that. Do I feel any kind of?
Well, I don't know. You got to roll.
Yeah. Sorry. Come on, don't you know off the top of your head? Okay, and I get a 6.
You do not feel anything at all. There's no trap. And you also feel that the GM knows that he should have told you if there was a trap, but he just wanted to remind everyone that everyone has special skills. This was another part of the tutorial. So
Yep.
you broke the fourth wall to understand that.
Well, I was gonna get there, dude. That's why I just pushed the door open. Although probably I shouldn't have pushed the door open first. But good point.
Cool.
All right.
So
you
there's
guys
no
are in
trap.
the Alderman's house.
And you guys just waiting for me to go in?
I'm gonna go in too.
I'll lean on the wall and kind of stand watch.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait outside.
Does anybody have any good like deduction skill?
Oh, I do.
Determine what could be have like gone on in here.
Well, do we see anything suspicious? Does the room look neat, or does it look?
You guys are going to have to pass an awareness check to figure that out.
Or an awareness or deduction.
So deduction is taking what you see and then figuring out information from it. But if
Yeah,
you don't,
I'll take a glance around the room.
all right, why don't you roll a d10?
That would be my awareness is 8. What is it? So awareness is 8, intelligence is 10, so that's 18 plus I rolled a 2, so 20.
20. So Riggs takes a cursory glance around the room, and he immediately knows that whoever left the house last, they left in a hurry. There's things overturned and not put away, but over all of this is a heavy layer of dust. So even though whoever left in a hurry, no one's been here for at least a couple of days, which matches up what you guys know about the Alderman. You know that he hasn't been seen in a couple of days. You also, because of your heightened awareness, notice that there seems to be a letter sitting on the mantle of the fireplace. It's the only object of its type in the house, so it kind of draws your attention.
What can I do? Would this be when I would use deduction, or would you tell us when?
Are you going to go walk up and pick it up?
Yeah.
Then yes, you have a letter in front of you. You can pass a deduction check now to learn more about it.
So that would be my deduction, which is 7 plus 10 is 17. Plus 5 is 22.
Do you just roll another dice, or?
Yep, I rolled a dice. I got a 5.
Oh, right. I forgot you have your dice cam. I can't see what you're doing. So, at first glance, the letter doesn't look like anything. I mean, there's words written on them, and they're in the Nordling language, but the words are jumbled in an incoherent nonsense. But you realize that means the letter is encrypted, indicating it was written by someone who didn't want anyone to know its contents. Beside the encrypted text, at the bottom of the letter is signed in unintelligible script, but there is a small official-looking seal that you notice in the bottom right-hand corner. And if you pass an education check, you might even be able to recall what it is.
So education, that's its own thing?
Correct.
Okay, so my education is 4. My intelligence is 10, so 14 plus. I rolled a 4, so that would be 18.
You comb the back of your mind. You realize it's a little harder than it should be because you've been out of the game for so long, and it's been a while since you've read any texts or literature. But you seem to recall that this mark is the mark of the Brotherhood of Sorcerers, which is the ruling body of magic in the Northern Kingdom.
All right, I will. I'll say, isn't one of you a mage?
Yes, I am.
This was. I think this was sent by your people. Maybe you know the code.
Let me look at it. It looks familiar, but I don't know if I can make it out.
You can try to pass an education check to figure it out. It's going to be a above average difficulty, so it's going to be a 22 education.
Okay. Is it just education and intelligence?
Yep.
Okay. So that's 14, and then it's 1d10, right, Clupp?
Correct.
Cool.
Sucking on you.
I roll a 20.
So you remember learning about ciphers in your time at Aretuza, and this one, it claws the back of your memory, but you can't quite get it. It's still just jumbled mess. So unfortunately, you don't get any more information out of the letter other than that it was sent by the Brotherhood of Sorcerers, and you found it in the Alderman's house.
I'm assuming you're not going to let like every single one of us take a roll at this. Right?
I mean, you can. So here's what will happen. I'm not going to tell you how many times you have to roll. You guys can try again, but maybe you have unlimited tries, maybe you don't. Maybe something else will happen, and I will cut you short. Kind of like when Michael was trying to gamble and make an infinite amount of money, but eventually the people just didn't want to gamble with him anymore. You can try again if you want, but you guys are going to have to initiate that. I won't tell you. You can try again.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm glad. That's a good question.
I just didn't. Yeah, I wasn't sure what. I have a pretty high education. I have a 5 education. I don't know what other people's are. I can kind of take a stab at it.
All right, it's going to be a little higher for you, Sarah Lynn, because you weren't trained with the mages. So for you, it's going to be a 24.
Oh, geez. Okay.
You got this, girl.
What's your intelligence?
10.
Her intelligence is 10, so she can pass
okay.
it.
Yeah, you can.
It's going to be very difficult.
Oh shoot, I did it wrong. Hold on. Six? Probably not. Right? 5 plus 10, 15, so no.
21.
Adelina tries taking a look at the note, and Riggs is proud to see her taking an active role in the investigation, but unfortunately she can't make any more sense of the encrypted letter than Phyrra could, and she puts it back on the mantelpiece disappointedly.
Anything else in the room? I know that we already kind of took a look around, but...
Riggs did not notice anything besides information confirming the alderman's absence in this letter and the guarantee of coin outside. You guys can't see anything else here.
Is there an upstairs or a downstairs?
Nope, it's a single floor. It's a pretty poor village. All the buildings.
Is it
Jesse,
just one room?
Yes.
No closets or cupboards?
There are
or
cupboards.
chests?
Cupboards.
So I'm going to kind of look over at check out the cupboards, and I'm going to use my practice paranoia to make sure there's nothing trapped.
There's nothing in there. You're good.
There's nothing in the cupboards either?
No, there's no traps you can sense.
Okay. Is there any, so I open up kind of take a look in the cupboards. What, is there anything
You
in
find a simple meal. It's been sitting there for a couple of days, so you probably should eat it as soon as possible. But you have an extra meal that you can eat tonight if you'd like.
Okay. Is there like a bed in here?
Yes, there is a bed.
Is there anything under the bed?
You can go check, but no, there is not.
Okay. Any loose floorboards?
No, not in the alderman's house. No.
Okay, so it seems like we've found what we need to find here. So maybe we can't figure out this letter. So maybe we should like pocket the letter and go and see what was that chick's name that the kid said we could talk to?
Maralka.
Yeah, we should go find this Maralka lady.
So the kids did tell you where her house is, so you don't have to figure that out. If you guys want to go there, you know where to go.
Onward.
All right.
We shut the house back up and relock it.
Probably a good idea. I appreciate your thoroughness. Oh no, we lost Jesse. Jesse's back.
He's trying to reboot his
Testing 1 2 3.
You're good.
Gotcha.
All right. I don't know why this keeps happening to me.
Meredith, just to clarify, you said you were going to go walk off to the bar so you didn't have to negotiate coins. Did you actually do that, or were you just?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Meredith is still with the party. She was just frustrated at the
She was just spouting off.
Yes. Okay, so the 7 of you make your way to the widow Maralka's house. She lives, if you look on the map, which is in the pinned messages in the general chat, she lives in house number 1, so very close to the crossroads leaving the village. Okay.
And who's got like really good charisma? Like who's really good with people here? I like turn around to the group and I say, like, maybe you should take this one and be the one to like start this conversation.
Well, I don't like to toot my own horn.
Sure sounds like you are.
Where are you at, Jesse?
Well, maybe I should go because I have a really nice physique and big muscle.
Okay, dwarf.
You're also a dwarf.
I got a 7 charisma and a 4 seduction.
I've got 7
And-
charisma and 8 seduction, so maybe Jesse and I can take the lead here with this little old lady and see if she takes a liking to either one of us.
Good idea, but maybe lay off the flirting. She is a widow.
Which is why she's
Exactly.
not.
Only, we don't know.
I guess so. So Zoe and I will saunter up to the Maralka's home here.
For being the key word.
Maralka is outside trimming the verge outside her plain-looking house. She's a hard-looking woman in her mid-30s. It doesn't look like the world's been too kind to her, but you can see that under layers of world weariness, she's quite beautiful. As with the other villagers of Milic, she doesn't seem too enthused with your presence. She eyes up these two strange characters sauntering up to her, and the 5 adventurers that are hanging behind give you guys a raised eyebrow.
Madam, a moment of your time, please.
What can I help you with? That's my woman voice, I guess.
It's all the same.
What can I help you with?
That's better. Do it like that.
Yeah. Exclusively falsetto from here on out.
Well, what?
Zoe's gonna ask, we just came from the Alderman's house. Any idea where they might be?
What were you doing? Sorry, our dog's going.
Can it be known that in the background...
Oh, we were just dear poor children of your neighborhood, and we were expressing concern over monsters.
Hi, there have been plenty of monsters about. Are you monster killers? Well, are you?
We've been known to dabble.
Remains to be seen.
Listen, all I know... Oh my god, hold on. Just give me 1 second before I continue to nail this falsetto. I'm going to kill my dog.
Chloe murder intermission.
I can't focus on being Morocco when
Because there's some really strange noises coming out of Zoe's mouth.
Ma'am, is everything okay in that home?
Alright, shut up, Chloe. Shut up.
It's like she opens her mouth, and then all of a sudden there's this weird barking. Like she's possessed.
Yeah.
She's the monster. Chloe is the monster of Milic. Okay.
Yeah.
All I know about the monsters is that the ferryman and some poor other boy from Lodz were killed on the road south of the forest, on the other side of the river. That's all I know.
Do you know anything about... I'm going to step in, because I've heard a lead. Do you know anything like what the wounds were like or anything like that?
Listen, I've already said more than I should about anything. She looks amongst you, but for a second you notice that her eyes they kind of linger on Zoe and Phyrra in the background, the 2 elven women, and you think, maybe she'll give you more information.
We're women, or because we're elves?
I don't know. She just her eyes linger on you 2 for whatever reason.
I guess I don't know.
He's lonely.
Do you see something you like?
Whatever I would.
What does Zoe do best?
Zoe wants to seduce her.
All right. So here's another part of this game that's kind of cool that I will actually hint you guys on. Sometimes a character is really easy to get information out of, and all you need to do is pass a difficulty check, and they'll give you more information. Sometimes they need a little bit more wearing down, and I will give you a prompt. When they need more wearing down, that is when you can initiate verbal combat. So verbal combat is basically, it's a type of combat that you rely on your skills, be it persuasion or intimidation or anything else, and it's up to you guys to try to figure out, based off of context clues, what might be best. So if Moralka is looking somewhat heavily at 2 elven maiden, perhaps they should step in and do something. And since the 2 elven maiden, their intimidation isn't very high, but their charisma and seduction are, use your context to try to figure out how you should best proceed. If I say that they might take a little wearing down and they seem kind of like timid little mice characters, then maybe Riggs or someone else can step in and try to do some intimidation. But either way, in this case, it'll take more wearing down than 1 dice roll. So Zoe has volunteered to seduce her.
Get in here, Madison. You're gonna seduce her too.
You can only do, it's only a one to one.
All right. Well, I'll seduce her first, and then Madison can seduce her. Unless Madison seduce her first, we got all night.
Hey, go ahead.
So Zoe steps forward and And Maralka raises her eyebrows. What do you want, miss?
Just to roll the dice, man. Just to roll the dice.
Yes, we're all looking to roll the dice in this crazy world. It's been so long since I've been with anyone. And
I would just like to point out that you are at this point trying to seduce your own husband by proxy via dice roll, just where we're at in the evening.
I mean, they already have a kid, Jesse. It's fine.
Seductively tuck the hair behind so her little elf ears are more prominent.
I just don't know. It all seems so wrong.
You're a weirdo.
I am also gonna step up and seduce, I guess.
Well, so if you actually want to do that, I'm just kind of like, I guess, foreplaying. So here's how verbal combat works. Once you guys have decided how to proceed, the options for verbal combat are very much like the options you have for your vocal skills. You can seduce people, you can persuade them, you can appeal to your humanity, which is that's basically leadership. You're kind of appealing to them to try to rally them, or you can befriend them with charisma. You can also use deceit to deceive them. You can ridicule them with social etiquette, or you can intimidate them with intimidation. So those are all of the speech-based skills, and you use them to initiate and continue on with verbal combat. It's basically kind of like multiple skill checks, if you think about it that way. So if Zoe's identified that seduction might be the best course to wear down Maralka, then she would go forward with her seduction skill. Does that make sense?
Yes.
This is a follow-up question to that. So even if we've identified that sort of main pathway there, like in a regular combat altercation, can we attempt those other pathways, presumably with like a higher difficulty check?
So in verbal combat, it's really just one-on-one.
Okay.
It's really just one-on-one, unless there's a particular circumstance where I say that both, two players might be able to intimidate one party, and in that case, it would progress kind of like combat in that you guys would take turns in a round, and you would have two people basically attacking. So in this case, it is kind of where Maralka looked at Zoe and Phyrra longingly, and they can actually kind of gang up to seduce her if they so desire.
You just can't roll at the same.
You just
roll one after another.
You roll one after another, and she has defensive rolls. So what she's going to do is she's going to roll resist coercion.
But she initiated it.
Well,
she's
being resisted.
Hey, that's not a yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Only with consent.
So in that case, in that case, you guys would basically take turns kind of attacking her with your words, and she would be trying to resist you until she finally gives in and you seduce her. So does that kind of make sense?
Good.
So Phyrra, do you want to get in on this, or are you going to take a step back?
I'm actually going to not seduce her, but kind of use social etiquette to shame her.
So Meredith's going to be seducing her all the while you're going to be shaming her for her actions?
No, talking about how it's not nice to stare.
The old good cop, bad cop routine.
Madison, I kind of like that, especially because you're this very intimidating mage type character, and she's basically a backwater bumpkin.
The thing for elves.
Is that an official word?
That's a thing for elves.
Bumpkin?
It is
a bumpkin with an elf fetish.
Right.
So,
Yoinks.
Zoe hasn't burned through 8 lovers by having high standards. So.
So give me 1 second, and I will tell you how this is going to proceed.
I'm just gonna fist bump Zoe and then just back off.
Hey. So
this is how we became friends.
To determine, so you have a special type of HP in this scenario called Resolve. So as your resolve gets worn down, you get weaker and weaker until if you get 0 resolve, it means you're completely worn down. And at 0 resolve, Moralka will either be fully intimidated or fully ridiculed, and will concede whatever information she has. Now, depending on how you're proceeding, if it's seduction, so Zoe's going to have to go back with her and take some time. So that doesn't happen instantaneously. Yes. How this works.
I thought you said this was battle with our words, not with our bodies.
Well, I mean, it's all. Listen, you don't question the way the game works.
All right.
You initiated this.
So I'm just calculating Madison and Mare's resolve, and
Is
then
Madison gonna like follow us and shame her the whole time?
So
That'd be great.
Your resolve is based off your will and your intelligence, because they govern some of your resistance skills. So Mare's resolve is 40 because she has a will of 6 and an intelligence of 10. Madison has a will of 10, an intelligence of 10, so she has a resolve of 50. Now Moralka only has a resolve of 17.5. It's gonna be pretty easy for y'all. But then again, it is dependent on the dice. So Zoe is going to be trying to coerce or seduce her. She has a seduction of 8 and a empathy. What is your empathy, babe? You have an empathy of 10. So that means she'll be adding her skill of 8 plus her attribute of 10 to a 1d10 dice roll to try to wear Moralka down, which is basically, I mean, the way that this is set up, it's gonna do it automatically unless she fumbles. And then just give it a second. I want to completely set this up so we can demonstrate how to go through it. This is part of the tutorial. And then Madison, your social etiquette is 5 and your intelligence is 10. So that would leave you as a 15 base, and then you would roll the 1d10. And so Meredith is going to try to seduce. So babe, go ahead and roll, and we'll see.
There's like a saxophone playing in the background.
It's her pan flute. Okay, so Meredith rolled a 5, so that's a total of 23. Now Moralka has a resist coercion of 7 and a will of 4, so she's gonna roll now, and there's no way that she can defend this because it's too high.
Zoe's just too sexy.
I mean, Moralka wants it. Let's be honest. Oh, 8. So that's she tried to resist, but Zoe is just too sexy, and so Zoe's seduction attack beat Moralka's resist coercion, and so now it does damage very much like a weapon. And so for Meredith, she's going to land 1d6 damage plus whatever her empathy is, which for her empathy is 10. So babe, roll a 1d6. 3, 13. Okay, so she did a 13 of her total damage to Moralka's resolve. So Moralka's resolve has been weakened just by one flip of Zoe's hair, one seductive move.
She just flashed her elf ears.
Oh, she just flashed her elf ears.
Ooh, it's very intimate.
So Madison's gonna come in here and immediately shame.
Yes!
Shame.
How Phyrra and Zoe have been all through life, you know? Zoe's just this loose talking dame of whatever, and
I'm glad you added talking, because that's really offensive.
Phyrra keeps you grounded.
All right, so Madison, you'll roll a 1d10.
7.
So 22. And then Moralka's a little confused where this is coming from. And she's a little scared, to be honest.
You can't be fetishizing elves. We're not people's playthings.
So she's definitely a little turned on by Zoe's movements, but then she's
Stop looking at her.
Offended
She's
by Madison, and
offended.
she's confused. All right, so you beat her defensive roll. So her total was 14, but yours was 22, so you beat her. So now you roll a 1d6 plus will. and your will is 10. So yeah, you did 15. So you finished off her resolve. So this poor woman, just going about her day, you have just defeated her resolve. Now, because Madison dealt the final blow there, she's not feeling. She's not really too horny anymore. She doesn't really want Zoe. She just kind of wants to go on her day. But you guys can ask her whatever you want, and she'll give you an answer.
She's caught in a trap.
He also says, "What the hell?"
All right, you guys ask your questions. I'll be right back.
I need you to tell me everything you know about the Alderman and about these monsters, so we can protect your children carefully.
Listen, I told you everything I know about the monsters. They attack on the road, but I do know something about the Alderman. I didn't say where he went. I know that he's gone. But I can tell you that the Alderman has been meeting with a stranger for about a month now. It wasn't until after the stranger showed up for the first time that the attack started. I can't tell you who this stranger is, but I know that he's been seen at the southern edge of the village. You might be able to go there and check out the house and get some answers. Now please leave me alone.
I'm so confused.
I'm so confused. I just wanted some company.
Be a good person.
It's been so long since my husband passed. Now you feel like a jerk, don't you, Madison?
Figure it out.
So that's what she said. She tells you about this stranger that's been meeting with the Alderman, and that the stranger has been seen in the southern reaches of the village.
So would that be just look at the map here? You said there's a house. Would that be like house 3?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the only house that's kind of down south.
To house 3.
We're like close enough to listen, right?
You guys were all close enough to listen, and you guys are all distinctly uncomfortable.
Beetlejuice is just give me like the slow nod and like thumbs up, just like yeah.
Zoe just shrugs and starts making her way downtown, walking fast. You know?
I'm just gonna like make a comment. I'm like, let's leave this poor woman alone and go find this guy.
What a waste of time. Let's go.
So you guys are gonna go to house 3? Is that what I gather?
Yeah.
Yes.
So Adelina, this is why witchers work alone.
I mean, she got the information, didn't she?
But what was that? That whole exchange was just unnecessary.
I'm just gonna lean over.
Comfortable, not
Could you have done
unnecessary.
it, Witcher? I don't think so.
I'm just gonna lean over to Zoe and Phyrra, just like, what is up with these? What is that stick up his butt? Like, hey.
Let's go.
Don't talk to me, priest.
I'm going to offer Riggs a full medical exam to find the stick within his arm.
You don't want to do that.
Zoe offers to hold him down.
So there is a stick up your arse.
Yeah, dwarf, I guess you're the right height.
Whoa! Uncalled.
Now that was a good joke.
Riggs laughs heartily. Or no. Oh, this is fun. Okay, so this party, this odd group of adventurers arrives at house 3. It's just another ramshackle house of Milic. Doesn't look a whole lot different than the others, but this one looks like it hasn't been lived in or cared for in quite some time. If the Alderman's house looked untended to, this house looks pretty much just abandoned. The windows have been boarded. The door has also been. There's 2 wooden boards crossing over the door. There are weeds and grass overgrowing almost to the height of the roof, which some of the thatch of the roof has been falling in. This house is very much falling apart.
That's promising.
Right, I'm gonna walk up and is there like a crack in the? You said the windows were boarded up, but is there any space to look in?
You can pass an awareness check on the outside of the house to try to figure it out.
21.
That's your total.
Yeah. 18
So
plus
you
10 plus 3.
you take a cursory inspection of the outside of the house from the front, at least, and despite this ramshackle appearance, it seems pretty airtight. The windows, there's not a seal through which you can look through. The door is fairly well boarded up, and there's no cracks in the daub and wattle siding. It's pretty locked up.
Where's that one with the lockpicks?
Yep. Yeah, I'm just wondering, what's the lock look like?
So Minka, you go up, and all of a sudden your thief senses start tingling. Your practice paranoia tells you there's something going on here. So now you can roll a practice paranoia check.
Okay.
It's gonna be challenging. It's gonna be.
All right. Ooh. I would say that might be good.
That's very good. So, Minka, your practice paranoia, you notice that there is an almost indiscernible mark on the door that you've only seen once before in your thieving career, something that almost everyone else would overlook, but it indicates a magic trap. Ooh. So if you guys had tried to open the door, you would have been shocked. So, so maybe a spellcaster amongst the group can roll to disarm this magic trap.
If I have trap crafting, would that help me disarm it too?
If it was a mechanical trap or something of that nature, I would say yes. But because this is a magic trap, your mundane fingers cannot disarm the trap.
So since we're dealing with magic trap, are we gonna which magical skill are we gonna?
It's gonna be spellcasting.
Just straight spellcasting.
Yep.
All right. I got a 5. I can have a crack.
You have a 5 spellcasting.
Yeah. Phyrra we might have a little higher one. Yes. No.
It's it's a I think what did I term? Give me 1 second. I have to memorize my own terminology.
Sure.
It is a average, so it's a 14. So
okay. I mean, yeah.
So
let's do this.
So Jesse, you actually already pass it. So as a 4, you have a 10 will and a 5 spell casting. You already pass it, so you're able to disarm it pretty easily, actually.
Okay, I'm just gonna walk up with my staff and just kind of tap it and go boop.
The trap dissolves and Minka knows that.
Yeah.
So your practice paranoia still is an application here.
Yeah.
And you know enough to know that the trap has been disarmed.
Yeah. I say good job. So I'm going to go ahead and try to pick the lock.
There is no lock.
Now there's no lock. It's just there. Okay. Should we go in?
Who first?
I'll go in first. I'll kick the door open.
Sure. You have a high enough physique that you can just kick it down.
Okay. Ka-chow! I kick the door open. What do I see?
Just necessary.
So, without any further investigation, you guys walk into this ramshackle house, and it's pretty bare. It's a single room house, just like the other houses of Milic. It's a single room house. There is a bed, which looks pretty fancy for this part of the world. I mean, it's a 4-poster bed. It's got a pretty opulent rug underneath of it. There's also a bookshelf filled with various books. And there's also a table in the center of the house that has all kinds of magical artifacts on it. There's also what appears to be an incubator.
For an
chicken
egg?
eggs?
go look and see what
Well, you guys want to look? You guys are gonna have to. You guys might have to pass it.
I'm using my practice paranoia for the room. Is there anything we need to be concerned with?
So you do not sense any traps. No, you disarmed the only trap that there was.
I'll have moved through the house, kind of. Is it just one room?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have kind of cleared it in a tactical kind of idea. But I'll just kind of stand back and let other people take a look at the incubator.
I'm gonna go. Is it like an education check to see if you can figure out what it's for?
You could do education or deduction. Either way, it's going to be a challenging, which is 18.
I'm gonna go and look at it and check it out and see if I can figure out what it's for.
Okay. So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna do education or
Education.
Okay. So go ahead and roll a 1d10. See if you can figure something out. Yes. So Adelina walks up to this strange table full of magical artifacts, but hones in on the incubator, and it's an object that is kind of obscure, but you can figure out enough, especially by the shards of eggshell that are at the bottom of it, that this is a breeding incubator, and most likely is using to breed monsters.
I'm gonna call Riggs over and ask him if he can tell anything from the eggs.
Yeah, I'm gonna examine the egg and see if I can the egg remains and see if I can figure out what kind of monster would spawn.
Also tell the room what I know.
Thank you, Sarah Lynn.
Thank you, Sarah Lynn.
Too willing and open.
Oh, for God's sake, man.
Way awful, man.
Look. Let me take a look at those eggs. Let's see what I can find out. So what would that be? Would that be a?
It's gonna be a witch. It's gonna be a Witcher training check.
Witcher training. Got it. Witcher training is 6. So, and that's an intelligence, correct?
Yeah, it's intelligence, and so you have 16.
Yeah, so 16 plus 5 would be 11 or 21. Sorry.
So you look at the egg shard at the bottom of the incubator. You identify some of the shards. So the first off the bat, you know that there are multiple different types of eggs in here, indicating that at least more than one type of monster has been hatched out of this incubator.
Okay.
You identify some of the egg shards to belong to an aquatic monster, and based off of the patterning, you're fairly sure that that it would be a living monster, because dead monsters don't lay eggs. And based off of what you know, the confluence of the information that you know from the kids, you're fairly sure that this is a lapistray egg.
Ooh.
And there seems to be at least one other type of egg, but even with all of your Witcher training, you realize it's not that you fail to identify it. You realize that this is something different. This is something that you've never read about before.
Got it. How do you spell lapistray?
Lopustre, lapistray. So the thing about the monsters is, I think I sent you the extended bestiary, so you would be able to look this up, but your character wouldn't know it unless you passed the checks. So you can read about it, but all of the information that you'll find on the rule books, your character doesn't know about it unless you pass the check.
Got it.
Friendly Witcher.
But I did pass the check.
You passed the check on the to identify the eggs. If you want to know specifically about the Lapistray, you're going to have to pass an additional check.
Okay, I'll roll then. That's another Witcher training. Or would that be deduction?
That would be a Witcher training. And remember what I said, you can also pass an education check to learn the kind of commoner superstition about it.
Okay. So I'll do the Witcher training first. That is a 10. So 26.
Okay. So all of the information about Lapistrays comes rushing back to you. A Lapistray is basically a giant lobster. It's amphibious and it's an insectoid class. So what you know about Witchers, there's different classes of monsters that have different strengths and weaknesses. And the Lapistray, even though it's an amphibian, it falls into the insectoid. It's commonly found along deep shores, larger lakes, and rivers. It's not naturally aggressive, but can become incredibly territorial as it ages. These creatures are fast swimmers underwater, but suffer from limited maneuverability while on dry land. They really prefer to stay in the water, and that's where they do their best work. When hunting Lapistray, one should be aware of its uncanny ability to change its pigmentation. Combined with its curled shell, the monster uses this to camouflage itself as natural reefs or larger boulders. And will readily ambush nearby prey if hungry. If cornered, a Lapistray is capable of ejecting the translucent sludge that houses its larvae and eggs, causing its prey to become disoriented if contact is made with its skin. So it is, as an insectoid, it is vulnerable to insectoid oil. I mean, that's just part of your Witcher training. And you know that it has limited movement outside of water. And with pairing that together with your knowledge of the attacks on the road, so the monster of Millik has been attacking travelers on the road, and that makes you wonder that kind of based off your Witcher lore, you piece all this together and you're wondering, I wonder what's going on here.
Okay.
All right. So you rolled a lot of Witcher training. You got a lot of information out of that.
Awesome. Do I need to, because I rolled so high, did I get any local superstition either, or do I need to, is that separate?
No, that's education.
I won't worry about that. I'm pure knowledge. I will relay that to Adelina, but I suppose it would be loud enough for everyone else to hear as well.
Thanks for including us.
You're welcome.
Guess my procedure didn't work.
What else is on the table? Was it just the...
No, so there's a lot of different things on the table that you can just see without using an awareness check. There's the magical artifacts. You don't recognize off face value. You might have to pass an education check. There's also a metal plate on the table that's about the size of your outstretched hand. The metal plate reads IDR 0023.
0023.
Correct.
Okay. With regards to the magical stuff, would I be able to pass a spellcasting check to identify them, or would it have to be education?
You could do either, but either way, it's going to be challenging. So that's
all right. Let's do it. So there'll be a spellcasting of 1d5. Yep, that's not good. So 2 plus 5 is 7, plus my intelligence is 9, is 16.
So you fail to discern any extra information just by waving your staff over it and chanting some Beetlejuice gibberish.
Damn, it usually works.
Oh, Jesse.
Can I ask, is there any relation between the the lettering on the plate and the letter?
So, based off of your based on, I mean, you pass. You have to pass an education check to figure that out.
Okay, well, sure.
Well, fine.
Oh, Jesus.
Roof.
I got a 1, so definitely not.
Oh, big rolls in the hut.
So I won't make you do the fumble because you've already failed to link any of the wording on the letter with this plate.
We couldn't read the letter anyway.
Yeah.
Madison, what's your spell casting? Does anyone else have a crack at these magical implements flying around?
One sec, let me switch to my sheet. My spellcasting's a 5.
I mean, you got as good odds as I do, so.
Alright. I will also try and figure out what this is.
Okay.
Please behind her fist bumping.
I roll a 4.
That you have a spell casting of 5 though, right?
Yeah, so 9.
Plus
Whatever.
plus your will, which is 10, so
10.
19.
19.
So you wave your staff over the magical artifacts, and you recognize. You don't necessarily recognize what they are, but you can tell that they haven't. The magic in them hasn't been activated in probably about a month, and it's the same kind of magic that reverberates from the incubator. You also can tell that there's no magic about this plate, this metal plate that reads IDR 0023. There's no magic in that.
Let the group know that, yeah, there's no magic in this. I don't know what this is, really.
So we've got a bunch of crab people, a mystery egg, and a missing alderman.
Pretty much.
I was the alderman talking to this guy who's clearly been breeding monsters. That's what I'm wondering.
I bet it's population control.
Children.
I look around. Is there anything else in the room?
Nothing at face value, no.
Can I do an awareness check?
You most certainly can.
So
You have a base of 13 awareness.
Yep. Ooh.
Whoa. Nice.
Yes.
So, based on the state of things, it might conflict a little bit with Phyrra's information that the magical artifacts haven't been used recently. But you can tell the bed's been lied in recently. The carpet's been shifted. The books seem to be a little disarrayed. Someone's been here rather more recently than a couple days. I mean, maybe even as recently as yesterday. And when you're looking around and you notice this, you notice that beneath near the shifted rug, there looks to be a little ringlet, like almost like a hinge or a handle.
I say, hey, guy, look over here. And I use my practice paranoia and make sure there's no traps, kind of, because it looks like there's maybe a door in the floor.
I'm going to make you roll another practice paranoia check.
Okay. Seven plus 6. Yeah.
You notice your thief senses tingle again, and you notice it's guarded by a very similar magic trap that guarded the door. And it's going to require another spell casting check.
Yeah.
This time it's going to require a spell casting 16 because it's a little bit of a stronger trap.
Right. So, hey, I think we could use some magic help over here to... There's a trap on this door before we do anything.
Is there anything that a witcher could do with that?
I mean, you have spell casting, so you have very rudimentary spells, but I mean, if you convinced me that one of your signs could open it up, then I would allow it. Otherwise, it's going to have to be one of the more experienced magic users.
Zoe pushes
I'll let them
Matt
do it.
forward and says, "We don't need your help, non-witcher, whatever you say you are. We can handle this without you."
I mean, we definitely did that last battle.
And now they high five.
Damn.
All right. I guess I'm gonna spit into my palms, rub them, grab the staff, and then try to tap this next one here and see if I can dispel it. So that will be spell casting. So
You have base 15.
is that so? Yeah, because spell casting does have a will. Yeah, so I have a base 15. So I don't need much. 1d10. There we go.
Nice. So you do manage to dispel the trap. It kind of fiddles out with a little and Minka knows because of her thievy senses that there's no more magic trap anymore.
Is there a lock on the door?
There is not. It's just a hinge to what appears to be a trap door under this carpet.
Yeah. All right. Who wants to open the door?
And the plot thickens.
All right, I'll step up and kind of Kool-Aid man it and just try to run through.
I kind of I step aside. Minka steps aside, but is guarded.
Okay. So who's Kool-Aid manning it through the trap door?
Me.
Okay.
I mean, you
don't know
have
how
some
you do that to a
vindication.
trap
Have some
door.
like vindication, like that
You
you're
just
doing.
You're just like dropping the people's elbow on it. How are you going through a trap door?
I'm yelling, "Oh yeah!" and running.
Well, it's in the floor.
On the floor.
It's in the floor.
Cannonball.
It's horizontal.
Cannonball.
Oh,
Yes,
cannonball.
It's a
The
cannonball.
door to
Okay,
just
no, go ahead.
open the door.
Lift with your legs.
So I'd like to try and open the door just as he would hit, like, so that when he, like, after he's left the ground.
Okay, so you pull like a Linus and like a Charlie Brown, and when Riggs opens the trap door like a normal person, right as Iroh is taking a cannonball through it, and he tumbles into the darkness. You hear him hit the ground with a thud.
Oh shit!
It's not that far down. It's probably only like, from the brief second he's falling, it's probably only like 10 feet.
You're right there, lad.
I mean, I don't really have enough information to know if I'm good or not.
You fell 10 feet. You're fine. You might have broken the leg that's in your pocket, but
It would be cushion the blow.
How dark is it down there?
it's very dark. It's not quite pitch black, but everyone but I believe Christopher is the only person who can really see in the dark.
Oh yeah.
As a witcher, unless there's some kind of elven bonus that I'm not aware of and I don't remember. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty dark down there. You guys, there's a glow from a object, a bluish glow, and that's the only light in the room.
So I'll climb down. What do I see?
So
What a hero.
So I'm gonna need you to pass an awareness check to get everything.
3. I rolled a 3, so 18 plus 3 is 21.
Okay, so you look around It's still kind of, I mean, even though it's pitch black, even though you can see in the dark, it's not like perfect. So that's why I asked you to pass the awareness check.
Okay.
So what you see there, the blue object, it's coming. It's a something you've never really seen before. It is 3 pedestals elevated off the ground. 2 of those pedestals have pulsing blue crystals in them. The third appears to be missing a similar crystal, and they're organized in a triangle around an open space which has a circle drawn in it. So you have no idea what this is. But beyond that, you notice there is a small kind of like hospital bed, and tied to the bed is a man.
Oh.
I'll yell up the trapdoor. Priest, mage, I don't care which. There's something magic here, and I'll run over to the man on the hospital bed, and then I'll kind of kick the door if it's lying on the ground. You're a doctor, right?
Michael?
Oh, sorry, I thought you said kick the door. Yes, I am.
And I'll point him in that direction, or I'll drag him along if he can't see it.
Which personality are you in right now, Michael?
I'm still Iroh.
I guess I'll turn to Phyrra and go, what up? And head down the ladder and have a look.
Does anyone have like a candle or something?
I'll Igni. Can I Igni and like have just a little glow?
I have candles.
I have a lantern. I just pulled my lantern out.
Oh, I don't have candles.
I should
All
buy
right.
it.
As long as one of you guys pulls your lantern out, you're fine.
Yeah.
Pulling it out.
So Phyrra and Minka produce their lanterns and light them up, and all of a sudden they all see the same thing that Riggs sees, which is this strange magical type artifact that's pulsating blue, and this man tied to a bed.
Shite.
All right, I'm gonna go up to the man and make sure he's okay.
All right, so you're gonna have to pass a first aid or healing hands check. As a doctor, they're kind of interchangeable.
All right, so what do I have to roll for that?
So it's a D10, and you have healing hands of 6 and craft of 10. So your base is 16. So you're rolling a D10 on top of that, and it's just gonna be a challenging. So you easily passed it. So you go up to this guy and you kind of nudge him and pass your hands over him. And he's breathing normally. He is definitely unconscious, but it doesn't appear that he has any kind of bruising or external injuries. And based off your previous experience, it seems that he's sedated in some kind of magical sleep. And based off your previous experience, that it's going to take a fairly powerful spell or some kind of smelling agent to snap him out of it.
All right, then I'll use one of my smelling salts to wake.
Okay, your smelling salts have 25 total uses, so I hope you can live with the fact that now that you only have 24.
Sounds good to me.
All right, let me make a note that you've used your smelling salts. And
I'm keeping track of that too.
Okay.
Is there like a second exit out of here?
Not you already passed an awareness check, so no, the trap door in and out is the only exit that you can see with your mundane eyes.
Okay.
May I have a look at the crystal triangle skull platform and see what I can see?
You may, yes.
Would that be spellcasting applicable there?
You can do spell casting or you can do education.
Well, he done got good book smarts, so spellcasting it is. Okay, so I got a 7 plus base of 5 is 12 plus my will of 10 is 22.
It was a difficult, so you passed it. You wave your staff over it again, and you can tell there's traces of teleportation magic on it. And it appears to be inactive now, and you discern based off your magical experience that probably because whatever third crystal or orb or whatever those blue pulsating things are, the third one appears to be missing. So the teleportation magic appears to be inactive, but you can tell it's definitely used for that purpose.
Gang, this is a problem.
I'm still like upstairs, and I'm like gonna keep watch on like the other side of things to make sure nobody's coming in after us.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So he's awake now, right?
Yeah. So the man who is on the hospital table sits up with a startle. He is probably mid-40s, somewhat handsome, although definitely has overgrown hair and a beard. Looks like he hasn't shaved in a couple days, and has the eyes of a wild animal because he's in an unfamiliar territory, and he can his eyes kind of adjust to the light. And he looks around and he's like, "Whoa, what's going on? Who are you? Who are you?"
I'll let someone who's better at communicating handle.
Are you the alderman?
Yeah. I'm the alderman. Who are you? What's going on?
Wish you could help us with that, friend. We just found you in the basement of this hut with a magical triangle doohickey thing and some eggshells upstairs. I don't know why I'm doing an accent now.
I like it.
So the alderman, after he hears a couple different voices, he squints and his eyes adjust, and he recognizes Riggs. He's seen him in the town before. He says, Riggs, is that you?
Yes, it is. It's. I didn't realize that I knew him.
Yeah, I alluded to that last time. Sorry if you forgot that.
It's okay. It's nice to find you. But we were looking for you because you've been missing for days.
Days? I've been down here for a couple minutes at the most. What's going on? Wait, how long have I been down here?
It's been a couple days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I relay that it's been a long time.
Holy fire. Wow. Boy, oh boy, we have some stuff to work out here.
What exactly are you wrapped up in?
Stammers. I'm not wrapped up in anything. Listen, there's this mage, this person that showed up about a month ago, and his name is Garzai. And he comes to me. He has a proposition from the Duke of Gorsvelen himself to put a monster in the woods outside of Lodz. Now, he assures me that this monster will not kill anyone. He's putting it there for experimentation and experimentation only.
Did you say what monster?
He did not. He just. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a learned man. He said something about breeding it, and that he was going to put it there for experimentation. But he said that he was going to breed more monsters and put them in the river to fend this monster off, so our village would be safe.
Well,
listen,
two people have already died.
Well, yes, Riggs, I know that. Two people after the ferryman died. I called Garzai back down here and insist that he stay and watch over his beast. But then one of the village children was playing in the river and was eaten by one of the other monsters. I don't know. There's too many monsters to keep track of. Either way, I went looking for Garzai to give him a piece of my mind and tell him that the deal is off. I don't want the monsters here. The money that he's giving me, I don't want any of it. I want him to take his monsters and go back to Gorsvelen where he belongs. Next thing I know, I'm here. And you're waking me up. I'm very confused, and I have to use the bathroom, too. I don't know if that's relevant.
Well, I'm assuming you'd like to keep your involvement in this quiet, and you want this handled quickly. So I'm assuming that we can discuss payment for my services later.
I would love to pay you, but I actually don't have any of the money. The money comes from the Duke of Gorsvelen. Once you kill the monster, I was told that the mage would be alerted himself and he would give you the money. So I can't give you the money right now, but if the mage is good to his word, you will get all of the money that was promised on the contract.
But that money is for one monster. You've said now that there are more than one monster.
Yes, you're right. And he kind of shakes his head. He's had a rough day. Very rough day. I mean, a man with a leg in his pocket just shoved smelling salts up his face. So he's a little disoriented. It's like the money is for the monster on the road. Yes, the monsters in the river. I don't know what to tell you. I don't think the mage is going to give you money for those. But if you could take care of them for us, we would be eternally grateful, and I would find a way to pay you back. We're in dire straits here in Millik. We don't have a lot of money to go by, but if you took care of them, I would find a way to repay you.
And I'll say that's good enough for me. I am retired after all. And I'll kind of slap him on the back and kind of and do like a weird, awkward smile.
Does any one of you have any food? I'm starving. I need to get out of here. I need to eat something. What's going on?
I might have something, but everyone should.
Did we untie him, or is he still on the bed?
He's kind of sitting up on the bed looking at all of you guys, wondering, still just bewildered.
I say, hey, I brought this from your house. And I give
You were in my house?
How else would we have found you?
Speaking of it anymore, just give me the frickin' meal.
Wait, Zoe says, don't give him the meal. We have more questions.
Oh, that's harsh. That's typical from an elf bastard like you.
I crawl down the hole and I say, don't forget to ask him about the letter.
Yeah, Zoe says, whatever. We need to know about the letter on your mantle.
What letter? Let me see this letter.
Like, toss it down, I guess.
Nice.
Paper airplane.
All right, I'll show him the letter.
Oh, this is one of the correspondences between me and Garzai. This is when we were first working out the specifics of our deal, and he promised me some money, and I told him that I would keep shut and I would make sure that my villagers keep their mouths shut too. And that's all this really says. I promise. I wouldn't lie to you.
Can you what that symbol is?
That's the symbol of the Brotherhood of Sorcerers. Garzai is a sorcerer. He's part of the Brotherhood. It makes sense. It was a sanctioned mission, sanctioned by the Duke of Gorsvelen himself.
All right, let's go deal with these monsters. Enough of these greedy men.
So, I guess he's kind of sitting there munching on the meal you brought over and still kind of figuring out what the heck is going on. And as you guys start to crawl out, he's like, wait, are you leaving me here?
So he is still tied down?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll come back and get you when we figured out this monster business.
That a girl. Learning from the best of them.
Can you at least toss down a chamber pot or something? I don't want to piss me pants. I guess I don't really have a choice. I'm tied down. Just leave me. Bring a change of clothes when you come back.
That cost money.
You guys are the worst.
So I'm liking you guys more and more every second. Nothing's free.
So before we head out, a quick question. So, like, could I use human perception to see if he's kind of withholding anything?
Yes, you may.
All right. So that would be okay. So human perception.
That's empathy.
Right. Okay. So that's 1d10. So that's not good. That's a 1 plus human perception.
Since it's a fumble, I mean, so I only enact fumbles if it actually matters. But see, you fumble it, so roll another d10. That's going to subtract from your total.
All right. So, oh no.
Jesse tries to use his famed charisma and human connection, but he's kind of starting to sober up in the middle of the day, and his day hangover. He sees like three different aldermen, and he tries to stare into the soul of each one, and it ends up just kind of hurting his head, and he decides to move on.
Fair enough.
All right, let's. Riggs is gonna climb out of the cellar, and I guess which monster should we take on first, Adelina?
Well, do we need more information? Well, maybe we should take on the whatever it's called, the Lopistry, and because that's where the immediate money is. But do you think that we need more information before this group is able to?
No, I think the immediate money is the monster on the road.
That's what I'm talking about.
Which we still know nothing about.
The Lopistray is in the river. That was I think that was the monster. Correct me if I'm wrong, Master GM. That was the monster that was brought in to deal with the road monster.
Yes, at this point you have enough information to realize that there's two monsters. There's the one that's on the road that they're paying the contract for, and there's the Lopistrays that live in the river that are kind of there to act as a barrier to make sure that the other monster doesn't cross the river and kill the people of Millik. And based off of your information from the kids and your Witcher training, you know that Lopistrays are river monsters, so their MO doesn't really match the one on the road anyway. So it all kind of matches up, and you know that there's the Lopistrays and this other creature.
Well, I say we take on the monster that we have the information about.
Then what's stopping that road monster from attacking the people in the town?
Well,
perhaps we could have a look at the road down south, see what we can spy.
I would like to head back to the
Tactics have anything to do with this?
What?
What do we use tactics for?
Tactics. So Mayor wanted to know what tactics are used for, and I think that's you guys kind of asked that question last time. But tactics is battle planning.
Okay.
So it's anticipating enemy movements and attacking accordingly. So typically that's for human enemies. It could also be monsters if you know enough about the monster. So if you like kind of coordinated a tactics and Witcher lore training together, you could maybe try to figure out something against the Lopistrays, but not against a monster you know nothing about.
Okay.
So what's next? What are you guys going to do?
Well, I think we know about one. The second's still a mystery. I vote we have a look at the road where the attacks were, see what we can spy.
Yeah. Hey, Clupp, can I try to reason out what type of monster would be afraid of a Lopistray? Or turned back by a Lopistray?
You can, yeah. You can roll that would be a very difficult check. So that would be a 22 Witcher lore check.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Sure.
So it's 16 plus 4. Yeah, I only got 20.
So you try to reason it out, but with the lack of information you have, you can't puzzle your mind around what it might be, and there's so little you know about this other monster. Other than that, it was created in that incubator.
Okay.
How big was the egg?
There was only shards of egg, so you really couldn't tell.
So all of the shards weren't there?
No, it was just fragments. But if it helps, the incubator itself, you guys didn't ask, but you guys looked at it enough. It was probably, I don't know, like 3 feet wide by 5 feet tall. It was pretty big.
That's pretty big.
Do you know anybody else who... I don't remember. Have we heard anything else about somebody who have seen the monster on the road? I'm trying to think. I don't remember.
Well, there's a monster on the road and there's a monster in water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it behoove the easier monster probably is the one on the road versus the one in the water, since we don't know how far out in the water it's going to be. It'll be harder to find.
Do we know how big the river is?
It's not super duper big. Maybe, I don't know, maybe like a stone and a half's throw across, Okay. Not super big.
Well, it's just that we don't know anything about this road monster. This monster that the mage brought in originally. But we do know, and we can, strategize for the monster we know about, which would be the Lapistray.
Aye, but we also know that the crabs are the only thing keeping this thing from attacking the village.
Oh, that's a good point.
What's your suggestion? How do we lure this other monster out?
I have an idea.
Does it have something to do with that leg that you've been carrying?
Maybe.
So we bait it.
Okay. As long as we make you can be the bait, Mr. Priest.
No, the leg is the bait.
Well, the leg is the bait.
What if he only likes living bait?
Well, let's start with the leg. Let's go and set up the leg and see what happens.
Let's give him a tasty little bite.
You guys mind if we don't start challenge tonight?
What?
Like, I'd rather not start this fight tonight.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yes.
It's just it's almost 9 o'clock. I feel like this would take at least a half hour.
It's fair. I mean, do we want to try to just take stock and then maybe call it a night here?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I'd say depending on your decisions, you guys did a lot of digging today, and I'm pretty impressed. A lot of that was kind of optional investigate. Well, not optional investigation, but you guys did the thorough amount of investigation, and you guys definitely know a lot about these monsters. So just to recap, you initiated verbal combat. You interrogated all the people of Milic you could find. You found this mage Garzai's home base in Milic, and you found the Alderman, and the Alderman told you all about what's going on here. And you guys, at this point, know that there's two different types of monsters in Milic, one of which you know about, and one of which you know nothing about. Other than the fact that it's killed 2 people, and there's a 2,000 Temerian Orin price on this monster. So when you get back, you have if you look at the map the map on the that I posted, the road to Lodz, that arrow is kind of about where that's where the ferry would be if the ferryman hadn't been killed by the monster of Milic. And so, that would be a good starting point. And then you can see where the river is. So somewhere along that river, you're going to have to try to find the Lapistrays if you decide to take them out.
Okay.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yep.
Good session.
All right. Yeah, really good session, guys. I'm really impressed with how much you did. It was a lot of fun. You guys can most likely finish this up next week, depending on what you decide to do.
Cool.
Awesome.
Sounds good. As always, thanks a lot for writing the story, Mike.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah. Let me think about what everyone did. Everyone participated a decent amount, but I'm gonna give everyone at least one improvement point. And Christopher or Riggs, your witcherness, you really made a comeback after after your stumble into the game on last week. So you will get 2 improvement points for how much of your Witcher training you managed to rely on, and the fact that you kind of you started to ease up and get back in the game a little bit. So I appreciate your new role as well as how much you participated. So you get 2 points.
Cool.
And yeah, that's it.
Cool.
Did we ever decide who got those remaining 11 coins from the bandits? Because I want to just dole those out. Do we just want to give them all to Jesse? What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't really care what we do with the money. I've got like 60 something. So
All right, I'm just gonna.
I'll take Michael's gold piece then, include and my own if we're gonna split the rest evenly.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
For me, yeah, I'm happy with my 6 to recoup some of the losses.
Okay. So I guess we'll just split it evenly. Jesse gets 6, Minka gets 2, and then the rest of you will get the rest. All right. Sounds good.
Good job, guys.
Good job. We'll meet this time next week, and you guys will continue your quest to slay the monsters, plural of Millik. Ha ha ha.
Oh no!
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. See you guys next week.
Thanks, guys. Bye.